Finding Health Data, Statistics Canada and Canadian Institute for Health Information. Presented by Margaret Vale, Liaison Librarian, Fall 2022. I would like to begin by acknowledging that St. Francis Xavier University is located on the unceded and traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq, who have maintained a connection to this land. Hi, my name is Margaret Vale, and I'm your Data Sciences Librarian. If you want to get a hold of me, you can email me at mvale@stfx.ca, or you can schedule a one-on-one appointment. I offer one-on-one appointments either in person or online. Where can you find health data? You can find health data from Statistics Canada. There is the census. They have health indicators, which are over 80 indicators and measures of the health of the Canadian population and the effectiveness of the healthcare system. It is designed to provide you comparable information at the health region and provincial and territorial levels. Statistics Canada also has other surveys available. Another place you can find health data is the Canadian Institute for Health Information, or CIHI. CIHI has information on your health system, includes indicators about specific hospitals or cities, health regions, provinces, or territories. It keeps track of wait times and benchmarks for treatment and wait times across Canada, and they also have a quick statistics, interactive tables, and or Excel tables on a variety of topics. The Canadian census happens every 5 years. You can think about it happening on the 1s and the 6s. The most recent census happened last year in 2021. Previously, there was 2016, and before that, 2011. Canadian census data is available through publicly accessible tables and profiles, as well as through restricted to StFX interfaces that also include special subsets of data not available on the open web. Here are some links that you can use to access the 2021 Statistics Census Profile and Statistics Canada data tables. Older census data can be accessed through CHAS's Census Analyzer or by consulting the print collections. You can find this information on Dalhousie's Data and Statistics Subject Guide or the Internet Archive collection. What data is available in the census? Well, the 2021 Census of Population collects data at various levels of geography, including provinces and territories, census metropolitan areas, communities, and census tract. You can use search or browse a list of topics available. Topics include Aboriginal peoples, age and sex, education, families, household and marital status, housing, immigration and ethnocultural diversity, income, journey to work, labor, language, language of work, mobility and migration, population and dwelling counts, and types of dwelling. One of the most important things that you should know is that 2021 census data releases are ongoing. Major releases are continued to be scheduled throughout 2022 and into the future. Processing census data can take many years, and you'll find that new census data is available all the time. Here is an example of census data that is available in 2022. So in February, they released data on population and dwelling counts. In July, we had families, household and marital status, Canadian military experience and income. In April, there was age, sex at birth, gender, and type of dwelling. In August, we had a release for language. In September, we are supposed to have a release for Indigenous people and housing, although I haven't verified this yet. In October, we're looking at releases for immigration, place of birth and citizenship, ethnoculture and religious diversity, mobility and migration. And November, we'll have our biggest release, which will include education, labor, language of work, commuting, instruction in the minority official language. When you look at census data, you need to be aware of these following items, such as random rounding. You need to learn about census geography, and you need to be prepared to take on some challenges, especially if you're looking at smaller geographies, you're working with older census, or you're trying to compare numbers over time. What is random rounding? You will notice that when you're looking at census data, you will find that many of the numbers end in a 0 or a 5. You'll also find that when you total, when you compare your subtotal counts with the totals in the census data, they will not necessarily add up, and this is because of random rounding. Census Canada does not want you to be able to identify individual people, so they will automatically round to 0 or 5 to make sure that individual people are not identifiable, especially in smaller communities such as Antigonish, where you could have a very small population of immigrants from a specific community. It becomes easy to identify individual people. You also want to be very careful when you're comparing between censuses. This is a chart provided by Statistics Canada that shows you what information is collected in various censuses. So you'll notice over on the left, you'll see what is collected in 2021, 2016, and you also have to be very careful of the 2011 census, which was renamed to the National Household Survey. This was when the last Conservative government was in power. They didn't believe in the census, and they changed it to be called the National Household Survey. And a lot of researchers who rely on census data found the National Household Survey to be very disruptive. The census of population is a mandatory item that every person who lives in Canada has to participate in, but the National Household Survey was optional, and it did not collect all of the same variables. When we are looking at census geography, we use a lot of the same geographic areas we're already familiar with, such as provinces and territories. If you're new to Canada, it's important to know that Canada is divided into 10 provinces and 3 territories. One grouping that you will find used in the census is called a census division. So a census division is a group of neighboring municipalities joined together for the purposes of regional planning and managing common services such as police or ambulance services. An example of a census subdivision would be Antigonish County. In Nova Scotia, you will find that all of our counties are census divisions, and in other provinces, they may or may not use the same term as county. In New Brunswick, they call them parishes. I believe they are counties in Ontario. So that might be another thing you need to familiarize yourself with. Here is a map of Nova Scotia with all of our census divisions. And you can see that Nova Scotia is divided into 18 census divisions, which are also our counties. Census subdivision is a step below census division, and it breaks things into smaller geographical areas. So for example, in Antigonish County, the census subdivision is divided into 3 subdivisions. So we have Antigonish Town, Antigonish Subdivision A, and Antigonish Subdivision B. Here you see the map of census divisions in Nova Scotia, and the red lines are outlining the census subdivisions. To access Statistics Canada census data, you can go to the Statistics Canada website, or you can Google Statistics Canada Census. At the top of the Statistics Canada website, you have a census dropdown. Then you want to click on Census of Population. Scroll down the page and look for the Find 2021 Census Data search box. You can also use Control F if you're on a Windows computer, or Command F if you're using a Mac. This lets you search within the page to help you find specific text. So if you can't find the search box for the 2021 census data, you could press Control F or Command F. And in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen if you're using a Firefox, or the top right-hand corner if you're using Chrome, you'll find a search box, and you can type in the word census data or find. When you press enter, it will take you to the part of the page with that word. When you put in your location, I recommend clicking search rather than selecting one of the drop-down options. This is because you'll be taken to the search page where it shows you all of the different geographic options that match your search term. So if I search for Antigonish, it will display the information on all of the census subdivisions, such as Antigonish Town, Antigonish Subdivision A, and Antigonish Subdivision B. It will also show me the census division, which would be Antigonish County. It also says that Antigonish matches a population center, and it also provides other place names such as Antigonish and the subdivision, Antigonish Harbor, Antigonish Landing. So if you select one of the drop-down selections, you don't get to see all of these different options and see what your options are. For more information on census profiles, which provides you census data for various levels of geography, you can use this link. Census data tables shows you the data associated with different geographic areas. Data tables are also available and can be browsed by variable or through maps. They provide cross-tabulations and present a portrait of Canada based on various census topics, and they range in complexity and are available at various levels of geography. When you're looking at a census table, you want to pay attention to some of the following information. You want to keep track of the table number. This is really important if you want to find the exact table again and cite your data. It also specifies the level of geography that this table covers. So this is where you might want to refer back to your census geography. So in this example, we can see the geography is Canada. You can view it at the Canada level, the province or territory, the census metropolitan area, the census agglomeration, the census metropolitan area, or the agglomeration part. It also tells you who is counted in the table because not all census questions are asked to every person. The census is a required to be filled out, but there's two versions of it. There's the short form, which is required by every household, and then there's the long version, which is only selected households. So the universe tells you that this particular census table is showing you the persons in private households in occupied private dwellings, and it's 100% of the population is answering this question. It also shows you what variables you can view. So in this case, the variable list includes age, and then in brackets it tells you that there's 20 different age variables available, 3 different genders, and 9 different structural type of dwelling. When you're looking at the census profile, you also want to pay attention to the information. So in the chart, it shows you your level that you selected. So in this example, we selected Antigonish Town, and it tells us that that is in Nova Scotia, and it is considered a census subdivision. It automatically shows you one level higher. So in this case, it's showing us comparing Antigonish Town with Antigonish County, which is a census division. You can change your geography by clicking on Change Geography, and then you could compare Antigonish Town, for example, with the New Glasgow Town. You can also filter on what data is available. So you can use the drop-down menu to select different data options. And you can also change your results from showing counts, which is the number of people, to rates, which is also the percentage. You're also able to download the table to Excel, and then you're able to make different changes in Excel and create graphs. To download from Excel, you'll click on the download button, And then you're going to select download data as displayed in the table, and then you want to pick download CSV. The CSV format will automatically open in Microsoft Excel. So this is an example of what the data table looks like in Excel, and you're able to do different manipulations with the data, including create charts. It's very important to remember that you still need to cite your data source. And Statistics Canada provides you information on how to cite data at the bottom of each web page. However, this is not necessarily in the correct format for your class. So if you have to cite in APA, when Statistics Canada provides you the citation, it is not in APA format. In fact, it's unlikely to be in any citation format that you use in school. So you will still need to modify it. Here is some information on how you can change the Statistics Canada citation to work for you in APA. So for an example, a data table without an object identifier, which is a DOI, would be in the format of the name of the organization, which would be Statistics Canada, the year, which would in this case is 2019, table 13-10-0096-05. So remember when I told you to remember the table name at the top of the form? That's where you're going to get this information. The title of the report and the table name is going to be in italics, and it's going to be a type of data table. You will also provide the URL. If a DOI is provided, which you will know because it will look like www.doi.org, instead of putting the link to the Statistics Canada, you would provide the link for the DOI. Some other cool census tools that you might find useful is the Census Mapper. This is another tool where you can visualize your Canadian data, census data, right on the map. I'm not going to go into how to use this tool in this presentation, but feel free to go back and refer to it and play around with it. It can be a lot of fun. The next Statistics Canada product I want to talk about is the Canadian Community Health Survey. So the Canadian Community Health Survey is data collected every year. It is collected through computer-assisted telephone and personal interviews. This survey participation is voluntary, and participants are asked questions on multiple topics, such as the perception of their physical and mental health, on chronic conditions, the use of healthcare services, behaviors thought to be related to health such as smoking, physical activity, consumption of fruits and vegetables, alcoholic use, and socio-demographic information such as age, geography, etc. To access the Canadian Community Health Survey, you can go to Statistics Canada website, and this time you're going to want to click on Data. Here you will see a list of all of the data products available at Statistics Canada. To find the Canadian Community Health Survey, you want to scroll down to the filter on Survey or Statistical Program and then click on More. This is where it's very handy to use that Control F or Command F trick that I mentioned before, because then you can search directly for Canadian Community Health Survey and filter on those results. In the search results, you will see the list of tables. So there are 218 tables available from the Canadian Community Health Survey. If you want to filter for specific health indicators such as smoking, you can put it into the keyword box. Pick an appropriate survey for what you're interested in. I recommend using health characteristics 2-year estimates because that will show you the lowest level of geography, which includes the health region. When you're viewing the data tables, you can also filter on different information such as the geography, age group, and sex. You can also add and remove characteristics over on this side by clicking on these buttons. CIHI, or the Canadian Institute for Health Information, collects publicly available statistics about hospitals and the health systems. The most important thing I want you to remember from this presentation is to ask a librarian, because we're here to help you. And I have a question slide because normally I give this presentation in person, but if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I greatly appreciate your questions, but I do. I'm very approachable, so feel free to contact me if you need anything. And please, if you have a chance, fill out my feedback form. Recording this presentation is a new experience for me, so any feedback that you have would be greatly appreciated. I'd also like to thank Julie Marcoux from Dalhousie University for providing such fantastic data and statistics information. If you want to find even more great data and statistics information, please visit her subject guide at Dalhousie University.